Previously, although Snow was on a mission to shoot Diana in case the negotiation fails, he misses his shot on purpose, sparing the young woman's life. At night, Nabrius and Diana see the hunter troops arrive, but Wisteria and Marbas show up to support them. The commander appears in new and improved armor, and they begin an epic fight in which the knight surprises the demons even more than the first time. However, his strength is not enough, so he reveals his secret weapon. One of the 13 calamities made a pact with him, so the fight becomes even more difficult. The climax occurs at the moment when the commander sets fire to Diana's mansion to get her to resign. But as the young woman refuses to throw in the towel, the commander orders a sniper to end her life. Thus, Diana collapses to the ground and uses her last breaths to say goodbye to everyone, especially Nabrius. After this, Nabrius explodes in fury and breaks the necklace containing his power, revealing his true destructive form, and the fight becomes more epic than ever. Nabrius is completely out of control, and his fury is so great that he swallows the commander in one bite, which shocks everyone in the place. Miraculously, Wisteria notices that Diana's heart is still beating, so Marbas will do his best to stop Nabrius until Diana recovers and manages to control the demon through their pact. Suddenly, the commander surprises everyone by regenerating out of nowhere and ordering his men to treat Diana's wounds. Marbas tells Wisteria that he can get some of his hidden power if she helps him control the ring that seals his true form. So the two work together to stop the massive destruction Nabrius is causing. When Diana awakens, she heads to the battlefield to stop Nabrius, so she uses all her concentration to stop him. When she finally succeeds, Nabrius recovers the seal that controlled his true form. At that moment, the commander appears in his true form and begins to explain the reason why he cannot die. When he was young, he met a demon that gave him unlimited life, plus he gets stronger every time he fights someone. Before leaving, the commander thanks the demons for not killing his soldiers, so he promises to lie about Diana's death, so the young woman will no longer have to fight for her life. After these incidents, Snow is given a few days off and takes advantage of his afternoons to meet with Luther and Watson, two old friends. But in the middle of the conversation, things get tense with one of them. At the end of the meeting, Snow pretends to say goodbye, but follows the boy's footsteps along an alley. When he finally confronts him, the demons who are accompanying him make their presence known, revealing that they are part of the 13 calamities and that it was all a trap to ensnare Snow. Citri, one of the demons, takes the opportunity to tell Snow that he intends to make a pact with him, as he has witnessed the bond that Marbas and Nabrius developed with their pactors. The girls and their demons enjoyed a picnic in a beautiful park to take a break from everything that has been going on lately. As expected, their plan is interrupted when Citri shows up and tries to convince Wisteria to go to London to rescue her brother. Marbas and Nabrius appear on the scene, so Citri takes the moment to explain the plan to them as well, making it clear that Dantalion, the other demon, will try his best to unleash a war. In fact, while they talk, Takenami of the Blade of the Cross confronts Luther, the young man who tricked Snow. Wisteria tells Citri that she will travel to London to take care of the matter, so the group prepares for a new adventure. Upon arriving in London, the group decides that the most efficient way to find Snow is to split up. In the middle of a rainy night, Wisteria meets Watson, who agrees to help her and her partner in their search. Watson explains to Wisteria that he met Snow during the war, so he will do his best to find him. He also asks the girl to stop putting herself in danger, as the city is in chaos. Simultaneously, the commander of the Blade of the Cross meets with Holmes to ask him to uncover the people behind the civilian bombings. While looking for a human to pact with, Citri sees Wisteria passing by and decides to take her as a pactant. So she barges into Wisteria and Watson's conversation to put the girl on the spot. Citri sprays Wisteria with a potion that attracts demonic men, so Watson takes Wisteria in his arms and runs away. Hearing the screams, Marbas bursts onto the scene and defeats the men. Since he is a doctor, Watson helps the wounded, while Marbas grabs Wisteria to carry her to safety. Seeing that his plan to kidnap Wisteria was interrupted by Marbas, Citri becomes desperate and tries to defeat him by carrying out the devious plan he had devised earlier, which is to use the best hunters of the Blade of the Cross to demonically possess them and control their will. Unfortunately, his first victim is Takenami, who begins to fight fiercely with Marbas. To avoid hurting Takenami, Marbas takes Wisteria in his arms and runs away, but Citri tries to stop him. At that moment, the commander joins the fight and threatens to end Citri's life, but Dantalion saves him and stays to watch the fight between the commander and Takenami. Paradoxically, the fight is interrupted when the commander notices that Takenami is only focused on destroying Marbas, so he joins in battle alongside him. Wisteria helps Marbas release more than 50% of his power, and the demon terrifies his opponents by showing them his true form. The next day, Wisteria finally meets Sherlock Holmes, who shows himself truly committed to the cause. He gives details of Dantalion's whereabouts, so Marbas sets out on a journey to the location. When he finally finds him, he tries to convince him to let Snow go, explaining that this young man is very important to Wisteria, his pactant. However, Marbas understands that it is already too late to save Snow, which makes him furious, as he will not tolerate seeing Wisteria cry. For this reason, he starts an epic fight with Dantalion, but because he keeps thinking about the girl, he suffers serious injuries. Fortunately, Nabrius enters the scene and stops the fight, so Dantalion leaves, revealing his next step, to destroy the Order of the Blade of the Cross. To distract Wisteria from what happened with Snow, Marbas takes her for a walk and tries to please her in everything. But the young woman automatically senses that something is wrong, so Marbas finds it necessary to tell her everything. While Luther and Dantalion were talking about their pact, they are attacked by surprise by the Blade of the Cross. The commander personally takes it upon himself to pursue Luther, who nearly falls, but Dantalion is forced to unleash nearly all of his power to heal Luther's wounds. To avoid destruction, Nabrius and Marbas join the battle to stop Dantalion, who decides to leave the scene due to Luther's wounds. After this, the commander realizes that Marbas and Nabrius have incredible honor. Ibrida, the sub-commander of the Blade of the Cross, leads the resistance against Dantalion, Luther, and the lower demons. Meanwhile, the commander explains to Marbas and Wisteria the sub-commander's enormous capabilities. Dantalion and his group arrive at the headquarters, where they find only Ibrida, who ordered his team to retreat so as not to suffer casualties. Soon Astaroth, who made a pact with the Blade of the Cross, appears. The fight breaks out quickly and the woman gets the upper hand, knocking Takenami out of the fight. And were it not for Dantalion, Luther would also be neutralized. In the midst of the battle, Ibrida begins to recall the story of the commander, who joined the order after demonstrating his desire to fight demons, despite being almost a demon himself. Unfortunately for the woman, Luther helps Dantalion to unleash his power, so the shattering is imminent, and despite all her efforts, she is defeated. But when Luther was about to give her the final blow, Takenami appears and saves her, since she recovered part of her consciousness after losing her horns. At the end, the commander arrives at the barracks, but unfortunately, he sees a huge explosion in the place and understands that Ibrida sacrificed her life to stop Dantalion. Elsewhere, Wisteria and the others meet Citri. Marbas finds what he feared most: Snow has been demonized, as has Takenami. Moreover, Citri has made a pact with him to have him as a subordinate. Sensing Citri's limited release, Wisteria falls down in a swoon. After this, Wisteria appears in London, where her story began. Citri is transported to that place and explains to her that he made her fall into an illusion created from her memories, but that in this world everything is hostile towards her and she will die hundreds of times. He has even made time pass much faster. He also tells her that to get out of there, she will have to choose between Marbas and Snow, who continue to fight. Because of this, Wisteria begins to wander the streets of the city in search of clues that will get her out of that place, and thanks to a newspaper she finds on the street, she deduces that that world is created in Snow's memories. Although only a few seconds passed, the rapid passage of time affected Wisteria, who has already become quite a woman. Arriving at the house where she grew up with Snow, she finds the doll he had given her when they were children. A demon appears and tries to lie to her about Snow's past, trying to make Wisteria feel guilty. But seeing the hatred with which the demon treats her, she realizes that this is another of Citri's strategies. Suddenly, Snow begins to take control of her body, and Wisteria realizes that she must defeat the demon in order for her brother to regain control of his life. At that moment, she makes a pact with Marbas so that he can enter her unconscious. Marbas appears and destroys the demon, thwarting Citri's plans. Enraged, Citri takes Marbas into his memories and begins to explain why he did all this, making it clear that he hates all ties to humans. After defeating Citri, Wisteria goes in search of Dantalion and Luther to put an end to everything. Literally the most epic and best animated fight of the entire anime begins, as each side deploys all its power to win. Snow protects Wisteria with all his might while Marbas takes on Dantalion, so he must face the one he considered a friend in the past. Nabrius joins the fight in the nick of time to save Wisteria, and Diana helps him unleash his power. Thanks to this, and the help of Astaroth, the commander and his soldiers, Marbas manages to channel an attack so powerful that it is able to end the life of Dantalion, who, before dying, says an emotional farewell to Luther. After all the incidents, the group is finally able to enjoy a day in peace, planning their next days. Fortunately, they will now be able to include Snow and take Nami to their adventures, as both have been turned back into humans. At the end, Marbas and Wisteria talk about everything that has happened to them, thanking each other for sticking around through it all. The end. Thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe, and click the bell icon to get new anime recaps.